Welcome to Sips with the Sorial. I'm Jenna.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dina.
We're just three best friends who like to get together and talk books. We would love for you to follow along with us each week, just like a book club. We tell you the week before what book we will be discussing so you can make sure you've read it. If you check out our Instagram, each of us likes to make art, so we will post our art interpretations for each book. Dina, what are we discussing today?
Today we're discussing A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, which is book 4 in ACOTAR. Since it's a pretty long book, we're going to split it into 2 parts. So if you haven't read it yet, please pause, go read, because just like the cereal, we're spilling the tea. Who put to Z?
I think that was you, my love. I haven't touched this.
That's hilarious.
I might have been drinking when I wrote this. Anyways, speaking of tea,
you know what? Maybe Tizzy is the extra spice that this book has.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so speaking of Tizzy, what are we sipping on, ladies?
Nesta's Fury, so you know that sucker's red and spicy.
Yep.
Red and spicy.
It's got some jalapeno, some cranberry juice, some tequila, some Grand Marnier. Did I say it right?
I think it's a Marnier, but sure.
Whatever.
And also, Bob later on told me, what about agave? So mine has agave too. So I'm sorry, Jenna.
You can't add last minute
I need
ingredients.
I need a full 24-hour preparation. And I still got it wrong. I forgot my goddamn jalapeno and I was so mad.
I know he has a fully stocked bar, but
I know.
Before we hop in, can I say a quick thing that I found out at my salon today?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, as the three of us know, Sarah J, and I learned it's Maas from someone who knows.
Oh, damn it.
Maas used to live in me and Danielle's town. Probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever.
Cut.
Used to.
She doesn't live in it anymore. And she used to go to the hair salon that I was at. And I'm like,
Jenna, what? She went to the same hair salon?
Yes, I thought I told you this.
I don't remember this.
So the owner was like, because we were talking about our podcast and everything, and she was like, "Oh, like what book?" And I'm like, like the Court of Thorns and Roses series and like other things. And then the owner was like, she used to be my client. I'm like, I remember you told me that, and I freaked out. And I was like, which chair did she sit so I could touch it?
Weirdo.
I was joking. I was like, please tell me she's a nice person and not a total bitch. She's like, no, she was so sweet. She goes, and beautiful. And she goes, and her husband's really good to look at. I'm like, I'm sure if he's based on Rysand or Rysand's based on him, I'm sure he's beautiful. So Maas is her maiden name.
Oh, good for her.
Apparently, like one of her parents, they're from New York originally, and her husband's from this area. So that's why they moved to our area. Right now they live in Philly. They moved, I think she said in like 2018 or 2019 to Philly. But she grew up in New York. Her mom's like a doctor and her dad's a judge or vice versa, district judge or something like that. So like apparently when she told her parents at age 16, hey, I'm going to write books for a living. That's what I want to do. They like almost disowned her because they thought she was never going to. Okay.
Can I just say, I mean, I don't know her as a 16-year-old, but I teach 16-year-olds. If they tell me that they're going to write books for a living, I'd be like, great. What else are you going to do?
What's your backup plan?
Oh, really? Well, like, look at her now.
16-year-olds are the worst.
She wrote Throne of Glass at age 16.
I'm not saying she's the worst. The majority of 16-year-olds are the worst.
Right. You're right. Anyway, I thought that was amazing. And I found out her married name is Wasserman.
I know a lot of Wassermans.
There's like a ton of Wassermans around.
Really? Here. Oh, so it's like Garcia. Like down here, everybody's named Garcia.
Yeah. The Northeast has a lot of like Jewish Wassermans, I feel like.
Got it.
Right?
So
there's Barry Wasserman. Barry Isn't he like the boob guy or the dentist guy? There's like a boob guy and a dentist guy, Barry Wasserman.
It does sound familiar. Is he a dentist?
He's either a dentist or a plastic surgeon. That's all we have up here. Or either dentist
Teeth or tits. Teeth or tits.
Teeth or tits. Oh my God. If we had a title name, if we just, it wasn't,
we would change it.
It would be Teeth or Tits. Oh my God. I love that so much. Barry.
I just came up with that.
You're on it, baby.
She's
I'm
good.
like,
She's a real
I was
wizard.
wrong. It's a LASIK eye surgery.
Oh, okay. There's
Not
no
as
T words
fun
with
as
eyes.
teeth or tits.
Right.
No, I like
He's
teeth
in
or
New
tits way
Jersey.
better.
He's in New Jersey. My friend got LASIK from him.
Princeton, to be exact.
Yeah, there you go. That guy.
That guy. I have no
knew it
idea
sounded
if he's
familiar.
related to Sarah J. Maas's Wasserman, but
Oh, that's funny. Hey, well, who's the doctor? Her mom?
either her mom or her dad. One's a district judge, one's a doctor.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought it was fun information.
We'll ask her when she comes on our pod.
She will be.
Simple.
Right.
Simple. Don't worry, we'll get answers.
They were like, you should message her and be like, hey, Steph used to do your hair and, like you're friends with her now and you go to her salon and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, she's not going to answer any DMs. Like,
she probably gets so many.
Freaking famous. Like, maybe people tag her in things all day long, probably.
But maybe she would respond to like fan mail, because when my students wrote to Jason Reynolds, he responded, and then we got him to speak at our school.
I love you, but Jason Reynolds is not Sarah J. Maas.
No, but he is he writes the Spider-Man Miles Morales series. That's pretty famous.
I don't know what that is.
Which is a different. Well,
I do.
You don't have little boys. Thank you, Dina.
Yeah.
Girls.
I've already watched it. It's actually pretty good. Well, the movie.
Right.
I don't read. That.
All right. Are we ready, Danny?
Oh, yes. Let's focus.
Okay. Now, excuse my crazy voice. Sorry, guys. Getting
It's
over the flu or whatever I had. Plague.
The plague.
It felt like the plague. All right. So here we are. Feyre and Rhys built their house on the estate, and Rhys bought Feyre for solstice, as we said in the last episode. They offered Nesta a room at their townhouse, but she refused because she's a fucking bitch and is staying in her apartment in the slums. Nesta is basically punishing herself and using sex and drinking to keep her powers at bay. She blames herself for her father's death, which,
the neck snap. That neck snap is haunting her. She wants to freeze. She doesn't want that fireplace going. She hears the neck snap.
Like, did you guys get that at first when she didn't want any fire near her? Did you get that the crackle? Yeah, right. I was like, that's kind of.
But when she described it, I could like hear it after that every time she brought it up.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to get it right away.
No. But that was good. Nessa has been using Feyre and Rhys's money, very nice, to pay for her drinking and runs up a huge tab. And this is the last straw. Feyre tells Nessa that she won't pay for the apartment and drinking anymore, and she's going to move her to the House of Wynn and train with Cassian every day. Oh, how terrible. I mean, I don't want to do the exercise part, but I'll be with Cassian every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get sweaty with Cassian. I mean, come on.
Yeah, sweaty in a different way. I don't need to train. I'll get sweaty a different way. She's also to spend her afternoons working in the library. Not a bad gig.
I mean, this is
once
not
again,
bad.
It's not a bad punishment, right?
Like, why are we mad here?
Feyre, you're a terrible sister.
I have to live in a mansion with really hot Fae males and read books all day. Like,
yeah, which you love.
me.
It's not like she hates books.
Yeah.
She loves books.
And she loves smutty books.
Yes, exactly. So Nesta and Cassian head to the Windhaven for their first training session, but Nesta refuses to participate. Surprise, surprise. Vasa and Jurian and Lucian have all become very close and live together in the human lands, which I thought was a little weird, but
yeah, that was weird.
Call themselves the Band of Exiles. I was like, oh, sure. Why not?
It's weird because, like,
Lucian didn't really fit in with the Jurian thing for me, but.
Well, like he's living in the human lands. Like Vasa is a human, Jurian's human, but I guess like Lucian's officially like the ambassador to the human lands because Nessa's not, because she's kind of like a waste of space right now.
And Lucian, I guess, kind of doesn't feel like he has a real home anywhere.
Oh, I feel bad for Lucian.
Buddy.
Baby bird.
Baby bird. Aerys reveals that several of his soldiers were out on patrol and went missing. There's no trace of them, but a very strange scent at the site of their abduction. Vasa believes that Brialyn, the human queen who was turned immortal by the cauldron and came out old, is working with, how do you say that?
Cochet.
Cochet. See, I audioed this, so I'm seeing these names. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Which I didn't even realize until after I saw like the book in person, how frigging big this book was. I was like, wow. But I powered through the audio, like, because it's pretty spicy and delicious. Aerys tells them that Baron pledged his forces to Briellen and her war. Nesta is still refusing to train and goes to the town to check out the shops. Comes across the same shop Cassian went into for her wonderful solstice present that she just disregarded and he threw away. Isn't that terrible?
Isn't that terrible?
We're still mad at her.
I'm still bitter because I still don't know what it is.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
never
what I
know.
want to know.
We'll never know.
If I ever meet Sarah Janet, I will ask her. That'll be one of my first questions, actually.
A, what's your middle name? B, what was Cassie's?
We're starting the Google Doc on that already.
There you go.
C,
Right?
who has the biggest wingspan?
Who do you think has the biggest wingspan?
I bet Azrael is a sneaky little devil, and he's the biggest.
He's the quietest.
We don't know. He's the quietest.
He doesn't need to be boastful because
It's always the quiet ones.
he's got it.
Right.
He's got
Right.
it. Oh my god!
Maybe-
Can I say
maybe it's
something
poor
dirty
Lucian.
Can I say something dirty for a second?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, did we see? I talked about this at the salon today too. Did we see Justin Timberlake's wardrobe malfunction and his micro penis?
Ew, what?
Seriously?
Justin Timberlake has a micro penis?
Well, I think so. And I kind of think he's an asshole now.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Right?
So
He's
I don't
kind of a
mind saying
douche.
it. Ever since like
Justin
those
Timberlake.
pictures came out, I'm like, oh, he's cheating on Jessica Biel, like the most beautiful woman in the world. What an
Yeah.
idiot. So yeah, he was wearing like this harness thing at one of his shows. I guess like he was gonna get like lifted off or something like that. And it like kind of made him have like a frontal wedgie.
Oh.
You could he looks like he has a little baby
you
boy.
have to share this. A little
He
baby
looks like his
boy
little
penis?
baby boy penis. I showed it to everybody else at the salon because they also hate Justin Timberlake. And this only popped in my head at the salon because his song came on the radio. I was like, did anybody see?
You're such a
Lord,
weird
It's
person.
called a baby carrot.
A
a
baby.
baby carrot.
Totally. And they were like, how did this guy get Jessica Biel? I'm like, he can sing. I don't know. He makes up.
I don't see his
Charisma?
appeal. No.
I used to love him. Something
Used
fierce.
to.
No. Okay. So
No.
it's not just me because Bob and Joseph were like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you like him? I'm like, he's a douche. And they're like, it's not true. I'm like,
picture right now.
and the whole Britney thing. And they're like, Britney's lying. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I
No.
know.
I mean, it's so silly.
You're the worst.
It looks like.
Are you going to send it to us?
Looks like a newborn baby.
You have to stop looking
Oh.
at it now. Ew.
Danielle can't look away.
Oh my God, I really can't. Jenna, send that to Matt because he doesn't believe us. That's so gross. And so sad for him, but I mean,
there's a side view.
What? Okay, so it's not like a Photoshop
there's a
thing.
side view. Wait, how do you know it's not AI? Wait, where is it? You said it's a side
I
view.
watched the actual video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
Oh.
can't see it side view, honey. It's a micro.
I'm like,
It's non-existent. It's so tiny.
Oh,
That
made
was so sad.
It made my day.
I feel bad for Jessica Biel.
right.
How many kids does he have?
2.
2?
I mean,
You
you
can-
can still get that done, you know. And there's also IVF or IUI.
2.
Yeah, that was probably what happened.
that made me laugh. I'm so sorry. I interrupted.
Tangent. I'm not even
Okay.
sure how that
Tangent
got there.
over. We were talking about wingspan, and obviously
Oh.
he has a teeny tiny baby wingspan.
He would have a small wingspan.
The smallest.
He has his. Oh, I won't. Spoiler. Never mind. Keep going.
Shh. I don't know what you were going to say, but all right. All right. She meets Emery, and then later on, she goes back to the library where she meets the acolyte Gwen.
Gwen. Do we like Gwen? I like both of them.
I like both of them.
I like both of them. Yeah.
I thought they were very nice.
So Gwen is the redhead with the freckles, and she's half water wraith.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Water nymph.
I
Water
want
nymph. She's a water nymph. Half water nymph, half fae. Half something.
Yes, she's half and half.
Well, we can't say much because we don't want to spoil things later. Right?
Okay,
About her family and her background.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. So the house.
I just sent that picture to your husband, Danielle, with no context.
He was right here in the kitchen.
Thank God. Could you imagine?
You're gonna be like, get your sister.
I mean, Justin's face isn't attached to it, right? So he has no idea whose penis that is. He's just zoomed in, tiny penis. All right, we got to get on with this.
Sorry, that's my fault.
So the House of Wind is enchanted, and how cool is that? Who wrote "I wanted to be my friend"?
I did.
That's so cute.
I do. Why do I like all like the inanimate objects, the pets? Like that's
I love
what
the
I want.
pets, though. But yeah, no, that is pretty cool.
But the house is cool.
And it's funny because later, like Cassian's like, "Wait, you're like friends with this house?" It's like
I was going to tell you Jenna to send it, but sorry.
You just see what I did?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What happened?
She sent it to the Texans group.
Oh,
I said no context. This is what we're talking about.
Maybe that'll get them to listen to our podcast, or maybe not.
You know, your husband just went,
Wait, the boys haven't listened to the podcast? No, Joseph has.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to let it be. I'm not even going to answer. I'm just going to let that stew for a minute.
For an hour.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. Right. The house.
No, it's okay.
I love the house.
It brings Nesta food and smutty books and it basically turns into her friend because she...
Yeah, it just like drops from the ceiling, right? Or just it just appears. It just appears.
Yeah.
Food.
Like
really food and stuff, right?
Like, yeah,
like,
she like talks
yourself.
out loud and it's like, here you go.
It's like, stop starving yourself. Here's some food.
Yeah, because she deserves it, I guess.
There we go. Okay.
All right, Nesta also keeps trying to leave the House of Wind by walking to the 10,000 steps, but never makes it, which cracks me up. I'm just like, what the fuck with these stairs? She has a nightmare one night and decides to try again so she could go drink, but misses a step and goes crashing down.
I have a question about that. I understand that they're steep and very curvy, but like, how do you fatigue going down?
Jenna, 10,000 steps is a lot.
Down though?
Yeah, I could see it because your thighs are going to start to shake after a while.
Going
just
down.
that downward motion.
I guess you do have to like. Okay. I was like, down doesn't seem that bad. I would just scoot my
up.
butt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no kidding.
For 10,000.
Let's get creative here, Nesta.
Worry about the up, baby.
Right.
I mean, the up is way worse, but
right.
The up, I'm crawling.
But I feel like especially if they're steep, you could definitely put your butt down and just like, or hello, let's get like what do y'all have up there? Like the sleds for snow and stuff?
What do you all have? Yes.
We don't have that here.
Ina lives in Texas. He wore shorts today.
I'm still wearing shorts and it is 64 degrees.
The window and it's still snowing.
It's freaking snowing here.
Yeah, so we don't have the sleds, but maybe, I mean, Valaris, it snows. They probably have sleds.
Yeah.
I'm sure those boys.
Get one of those.
Might be hard to spin in, but
or it could be really fun.
Or it could be fun. Or you're puking.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Moving on.
Yes.
Right, so she crashes down and she manages to grab hold of a step to stop her fall and notices that her fingers ended up embedded in the stone and she had used her powers. Oh,
yeah, because at this point she was saying that she didn't have them anymore.
Yeah. She was like, no, they're gone. Bye.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really a fae. I'm not real. I'm not like you guys.
She's in denial of everything. So she like unintentionally used them.
Right.
Yeah.
Finally, Cassian gets Nesta to start training by offering her a bargain. If she trains with him for an hour, then he will owe her a favor of her choice. Could get a little
favor.
Interesting later. And the bargain is tattooed on their backs as an 8-pointed star. The series makes me want to get another tattoo.
That was me.
Yeah. What would you get an 8-pointed star?
I don't know about an 8-pointed star because that seems kind of interesting. But I like the moon and stuff, like the Feyre tattoos. I would get something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Right?
I mean, Jenna did get that, so.
Yeah, I like this one. Can you say?
No.
Tilt it a little.
Nope. Yeah,
Tilt.
there you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then I've seen like a book one where you open the book and like the stars and Valaris and books are like or flowers. I mean, are flying out of it.
Oh,
I like
yeah, I've seen that.
like border
That's
patrol, but
pretty.
I'm running out of room.
Yeah.
Yay. Mom said that, remember?
I know.
All right. Nesta finds Gwen again in the library, and she works with Meryl, who is very demanding. And
Oh
Gwen,
yeah, Meryl's kind of mean.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she accidentally put volume 8 in her office, but she needs volume 7. And Gwen needs to replace it before Meryl notices.
Gwen's
And
like hysterically crying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's panicking.
Yeah, she's like a poor innocent little baby.
Oh.
All right. Nesta ends up helping her by finding volume 7, replacing it in Meryl's office. We find out that Meryl's writing about the Valkyries' history and the war 500 years ago that wiped them out.
Mm-hmm.
And that Meryl is also obsessed with theories about the different realms and worlds, and some believe that there are 26 realms, with the last one being time.
Ooh, I forget that one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
When I read that, I assumed something like that was going to come up later, which it did, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I'd also wonder if these 26 realms that they talk about have more to it, and hopefully we'll find out like a connection maybe between all the 3 books with it. Like maybe it'll explain some of the interconnections.
You mean
I
with like
haven't.
Crescent City and all that?
Yeah.
Crescent City
Oh, okay.
Trace explains it. So
The realms.
Okay.
I mean,
it
does it
explains the realms.
to a point? To a point.
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't say like I'm knowledgeable about it all now that I've read all of her books, but because my brain hurts after reading all of them. But I feel like I have a decent grasp. Yeah.
Because you also said it was confusing, so I'm a little scared.
Oh, it's super. When you first read Crescent City, you're like, what the? After reading Throne of Glass and Akatar, you're like, what is this?
Oh no.
But then once your brain adjusts, you only say, what is this like 10% of the time.
Oh gosh.
Oh, only 10%. Okay, well, that's good.
Okay. It sounds like a 2025 problem.
Get on it and read Crescent City already.
Yeah.
Or just listen to it. It's all in graphic audio now.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay.
Good car ride.
And it is spicier than Silver Flames. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
I'll never forget pulling up to work, listening to some parts of Silver Frames, and I had people next to me. I was like, oh, okay. I got to
They can
go
definitely hear, right?
talk to children right now.
I'm always so paranoid about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. During another training session with Cassie, and Nesta talks about herself, we find out that she used to take dancing lessons, which I was a little shocked at.
Mm.
And she was her mother's creature. Her mother was a worse version of her, though. And then, so a little bit more on their mom, but do we have any more thoughts?
I think there's just so many theories that her mom was like a secret witch or like, and like secretly knew the Fae.
Right.
I mean, we'll maybe find out in the next book.
God, I hope so. Whenever that book.
In Throne of Glass, Danielle, have you gotten to any witches or anything? No,
Listen,
right?
you guys have been telling me to not read them and read all these other books. So
I don't remember where you're at.
I'm in Crown of Midnight.
Oh, yeah, not yet.
No.
Okay. We'll save some
Sorry.
thoughts then for later. Cool.
Just remember, Danielle, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame have graphic audio.
All right. Well, I can only do so many graphic audios. I am still on Glow. You made me push back Powerless too. Okay, give me a minute. All right. Rhys-Ann and Cassian go to the spring court to meet with Eris. And they question Eris about his intentions, and he's working against Baron and Bree Allen. Eris, the reason why he's doing this is that he wants to be the High Lord. Eris makes a comment about leaving more untouched at the border, and when Cassian says that he left her there to die, Eris said to ask more if that's true. She finally knows the answer. So, what do you think? What do you think he actually did?
So have you looked at theories on this?
I have. Why don't you go for it first, Dina?
So a couple of things that I saw was, and I had to go back and reread it, was where they mentioned about oh, I think I wrote it down because it was interesting, that the nails went through her womb and not her stomach. And so they're alluding to the fact that maybe she was pregnant.
Oh, I think I did hear that one. Yeah.
With Cassian's?
I'm assuming because that's the only one
that's
that she slept with.
the one she slept with. Yeah. Because to just like get it over with and make her tainted so she didn't have to marry him.
Right. So there was that, but I don't know how it connects to Eris and what he knows and all that. The other one that I saw was that he knew that she was into females, and
Yes,
to
that's the one
kind
I
of
saw.
help, like, help her out, you know, he agreed to basically cut off the ties or, you know, being her mate, but he didn't realize what Kier would do. And,
Mhm.
you know, one thing led to another. But he really isn't the bad guy in that sense because he didn't realize the extent of what would happen if they broke off that bond or whatever. Which I really do hope that he is a good guy deep down. And I'm having trust issues with Moore.
Yeah.
I always kind of had trust issues with Moore. I feel
Right?
bad, but
There's a lot
little
of
sus about
theories
her.
that Moore is like a double agent kind of
Mhm.
situation.
I could
Like there's a lot
totes
of
see
times
it.
where she's just like away and we
Mhm.
don't really like she's off doing something. She's a liaison and she's like gone for a while and like she has this like double life going on. There's a lot of theories about a double life. So I don't know. I feel like she's going to end up being a villain in the end.
I just don't want
right.
Reese to be so hurt like that.
I
That'd be so
know.
sad for
Because they're
him.
so close.
yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
like she's number 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. Number 1, I never liked that. Number 2, like, no, sorry.
Yeah, and then what's her
yeah.
her power is the power of truth. But what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that she can't tell a lie or that she can tell if others aren't telling a lie? Like, do we know what the full extent of her power is in that sense?
I'm looking that up. I actually don't even think I knew what her freaking power was. So it says, um, Moore's power may be truth, but it's not what it sounds like. One thing that's clear, the power of truth cannot be connected to Moore's ability to lie or tell the truth because she manipulates the truth multiple times throughout the series. One example is how long Moore has been misleading Azriel about her
Oh,
for him.
that's true.
So maybe she's able to tell when others are telling the truth and has nothing to do with her own truth. So yeah, I've seen theories that Eris knows that she prefers females. And he was just like something of like, don't touch her because then we have to like claim her or something like that. And like he knew that Azriel and Cassian were coming for her. And so he wanted them to come save her and not him. And he was like afraid of what his dad, Baron, was going to do if he like took her in and took care of her. So that's just some theories, but who knows, honestly. I want Eris to have more of a redemption than I want Tamlin to have a redemption.
Really?
Agreed. I
Well,
agree.
honestly, because I feel like Eris has done, he's like 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. He's done more for the inner circle than Tamlin has. I don't think Tamlin has done anything other than giving Feyre wind to get her through Wings and Ruin.
Helping
And then
Reese.
and then I was just about to say, and the droplet of power.
I mean, that's pretty significant.
Yeah,
Jenna,
but only because Feyre's fucking begging. No one's begging Eris to help, and he is. I mean, he has ulterior motives for him wanting to be the High Lord of Autumn Court, but I mean, he could go about that differently. I don't know. Also, everybody loves our fan pic on Instagram for Eris, which is Joseph Morgan, who is from Vampire Diaries, Danielle.
Who?
My brain's not working.
Joseph.
Oh my God,
Morgan.
the bad guy. Oh my God.
Vampire.
Why?
Oh, Klaus.
Klaus.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's it. That's a good one.
that we picked Klaus as Eris. Everybody's obsessed.
That's pretty funny.
And it almost has 500,000 views on Instagram.
It's crazy.
Right now. So
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Keep going.
I'm not blue.
Oh, that's
You're
me.
blue.
Okay,
Yeah.
yay. Okay. So Cassian tells Nesta about Lanthus, which I think is so funny that he's terrified of this like smoke monster
So
that
funny.
lives right. It's the smoke monster. No, that's Bryaxis. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, he's scared of him too.
He's scared of him too. So
He has some fears.
Lanthus is like this evil demon Fae lord thing that's like in the jail. He's like, it's one of the first gods that he put in prison, and apparently was like, it almost killed him, right? He fathered the bog, which is first gross, second scary.
Yeah.
The bog is not okay.
Gross.
Like, I don't want to know how you did that. That's nasty. Cassian had to trick him to catch him, and he trapped himself in a mirror made of ash wood. So we know that ash can like kill fairies, and he somehow put him in this like mirror prison. And Lanthus got out of the mirror in the prison, but was still like trapped in there. I don't know. It's something crazy Sarah J. Maas brain stuff.
That is something wild.
Right? Cassian tells Nesta about the blood rite, which happens like when you what's the mountain? Ramiel.
Yeah, Ramiel.
And you have to like go climb Ramiel, but also you have to fight these like demons, and then other people are trying to kill you because the first person that gets there before the time is up, you're an Illyrian warrior, right? And then the Illyrian warrior comes to full power, and they have to complete the blood rite to qualify as a warrior and adult. So they are taken to the Illyrian mountains, and they're left there for a week. The goal is to survive and try to reach Ramiel. So no females have ever taken part of this. So we know at this point that Nesta, Gwyn, and Emery are really like admiring the Valkyrie, which are all female warriors. So Cassian, oh my God. Nesta asked Cassian
Oh my
if
gosh.
he would train the priestesses if she could get them to come to training. And he says yes. So the priestesses are very traumatized. A lot of them were victims of assault and sexual assault and abuse, and they were kind of saved by Rysand and Azriel and brought to this like little like guarded, warded library that Rysand has in Valaris. I'm so sorry. My brain's not working. So anyway, well, then Elaine comes to visit Nesta in the House of Wind, and they get into a fight. Elaine's finally showing that she has a little bit of a backbone. I like that. Then Cassian and Nesta get into a fight, and he's like, how could you be mean to Elaine? Like,
Like she's so
Baby Elaine.
innocent and just bakes cookies.
right? And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to go walk down these stairs again. And like, she only makes it down to step like 1,000 and comes back up. Like, that's a fucking nightmare. Like, if I'm going down 1,000, like, I'm not going back up. Like, I'm butt bumping it. Like, what is wrong with you? So Cassian's apparently waiting for her at the top, and he's like, are you happy now? He tells her about his journey, about slaughtering every person who hurt his mother. Like, we learned a little bit more about his like backstory, which is really sad. They fight again, and then she kisses him. Like,
It's
way to
just
be,
so
like,
annoying. Like he's opening
old.
up to
Yeah.
her, and then they have a fight. Like it's annoying. Don't be mean to him.
So back and forth, hot and cold.
She's very bipolar with him. She's like, I love him, but I can't let him know that I love him, and I don't deserve love, so I'm going to be a dick to him. And then, oh my God, what happens? Doesn't she jerk him off? Like, and then he comes really quick because he's so in love with her. And she like basically mocks him to his face and says, well, someone's quick off the mark. Could you imagine? Like, that's so demeaning.
So rude.
So rude. Okay. So Azriel has been watching the queen, Brialyn, for weeks now because he's our little shadow singer, and knows that she wishes to find the cauldron so she can get her youth back because she's decrepit and old now and disgusting.
She's crusty.
He's working with Koschei. Do we know at this point that Koschei is the brother to the bone carver and we
do now. So
I'd say I think we
Weaver?
find out.
Didn't we find out in Wings and Ruin or no?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. I believe we
Anyway,
already
if we
do.
didn't, there you go.
Sorry. Well, you should have already read that part.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right up to now.
He has pointed her to the Dread Trove. So the Dread Trove is all of these magical pieces. It's like a treasure chest of like magical items that can like make people bow to their command. It could raise the dead. It can like what, like time travel? I don't know.
Influence people, open doors, things like that.
So Koshé wants to get the Dread Trove so he can free himself from the lake. So he's imprisoned on this like little island lakey thing. Oh, I'm sorry. You have it listed, Dina. The mask raises the dead. The harp opens any door, physical or metaphorical, I guess. The crown can influence people. So the trove was made by the Cauldron. Here we go. Like calls to like. Sarah J. Maas loves that. I was like watching this show on Netflix, The Shadow and Bone, which is based on the book. And they said like calls to like. I was like, God damn, I hate this phrase so much.
We are tired of it. Please do not write it in your books anymore.
Oh my God.
So,
I mean, we love you. So come on the podcast first.
Right. We can discuss.
So since the trove was made by the Cauldron can find the trove, but also because Elaine, Feyre, and Nesta were made by the Cauldron, they can help find the trove. So anyway, Nesta won't let Elaine find the Dread Trove because of what happened the last time. Nesta says that she can't track it and asks Feyre to find it. Like, Feyre's pregnant. Like, can you do something? Can you? Feyre says she can't because dun dun dun, she's pregnant. Nesta tells her that she tells Nesta that she's having a boy. So what do we think about all of that?
I mean, I was happy for, that she shared it with her sister. I thought she was going to keep it a secret for a minute.
And Nesta was like happy for them, I feel like, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think she was a little shocked at first. Like, oh, okay, this is like real life with you in this whole situation.
Like, oh, you're happily ever after
serious
right now.
Right.
You're happily ever after.
Like, you like this life.
And I think Feyre waited to tell anybody else about what she was having. She like saved that for Nesta, which I thought was really sweet. And Nesta kind of didn't like.
It was undeserving.
Not care, but like she was just like, okay, like she didn't really like.
She didn't give her the reaction that she wanted.
Yeah. And I thought that was kind of sad because when you're telling your sister that you're pregnant and then you're the first one to tell them that you're having a boy, like you expect a certain reaction from them. So
right.
Making me sad. But yeah.
So at this point in the book, no priestesses have signed up for training with Cassian. So, and we understand, like, they had like trauma with men assaulting them. So they're like, I really don't want to be trained by a man. I don't trust men. I want to stay in my women bubble in my library. So Nesta stages a scene in the library where Nesta is practicing her training in front of the priestesses, and Cassian shows up and coaches her. So this encourages Gwyn to sign up for the training in the morning. So Gwyn shows up for training, and this is the first time she's been outside of this like library since arriving there. She said that she signed up for the training so she never has to feel powerless again. So good.
It made me so sad.
But like, also like, good for you, Gwyn.
Yes. But like sad that she felt powerless.
Yeah. But she's taking it back into her own hands. Like, that's good.
I'm sure there's plenty of people in the world who like experience something like that and then don't take that step. They just shut out forever,
So that's growth on her part too.
Absolutely. So Nesta meets up with Emery again and tries to convince her to come to training, but Emery says no. Eventually, she agrees to show up after Nesta gives her a package filled with spices and teas, which is really cute. We find out more about Gwyn's background. Her mother took part in the Great Rite and had Gwyn and her twin sister who passed away, right? So there's lots of theories. Do we want to talk about it, Dina? I know you read a lot about these theories.
Yeah, if it was part of the Great Rite, is Tamlin her dad?
Because I feel like the Spring Court is the one that really believes in this Great Rite more than other court.
Right. And then at what point was it happening? Because I think all the other ones stopped doing it, right? So, I mean, definitely Tamlin's court is still at it. So,
Literally.
could it? I mean, maybe not Tamlin, maybe his father. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know what the time frame is, but
I know, right?
kind of
It's a
interesting.
good potential theory.
Right?
It is. Okay, so Nesta does this like scrying with the bones and the map and everything like that, which was really weird. I don't know if I like that so much.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this is so weird. To try to find where the cauldron is, but nothing happens. She ends up having like a nightmare that night, which like results in like the entire room being filled with like this silver fire. And she wakes up like, well, she doesn't even wake up. She's like screaming. It's consuming her. Rasan tries to wake her. It's not getting anywhere. He gets into her mind and finally understands her trauma. He's like, feels a little bit bad for her. And Rasan like says, because he looked into her mind, that Nesta's power is just like pure death, like pure death. And I think it was like, wasn't it like Cassian that was the only one that was able to wake her up from the dream?
Yeah, I think so.
Think
Or is that
so,
like a
but
different dream?
Rhysand also had part. I think he tried to reach into her mind to pull her out, but Cassian's voice is what she could hear, or something like that.
Yeah. And I think then Rhys understood how deeply
Yes.
connected she was to Cassian at that point.
Yes.
So we learn at this point that Rhysand has been really moody because he knows and has been keeping a secret that the baby that Feyre is carrying has wings, because at the time that the baby was conceived, she was in her Illyrian form, so she had wings. So two Illyrians equal baby with wings. And there's an elevated risk during labor because Feyre is not naturally Illyrian, and so her like pelvis is different, I guess. And she's afraid to, and was told not to, I guess, by the midwife to shift into an Illyrian because they don't know if the baby would die if she did that. So they were told that her and the baby will die because he can't pass through the birth canal. And Rhysand refuses to tell Feyre at this point. Cassian tells Nesta.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Idiot. Yeah. So that's not good because
I also don't like that Rhysand was keeping this from Feyre. I understand why he was doing it, but I actually kind of got annoyed with the fact that he was keeping it from her, and I was mad at him for it.
Yeah, it was, I mean, because he's so Mr., I love you, beyond words. And I mean, he wants to protect her. And do we know at this point about, yeah, we know that their bond to, right.
if
okay.
one goes, they both
one
go.
goes, okay, good. All
But
right.
like the whole series, he's always been making her his equal and like pumping her up, like, we're on this at the same level. And she's obviously time and time again proved how strong she is with everything that she's gone through up until now.
But this
Still,
is different.
So like I'm on the other side of things. Like we do have a listener engagement poll on this, and it was relatively close, but I was never mad at Rhysand about this because if he like the whole time is like researching, trying to figure out a way to solve this problem. So he's like wants her to be in this blissful pregnancy bubble while he tries to figure it out. He doesn't want to have this like death looming over her head. He wants her to enjoy her pregnancy while he tries to figure it out. And then if he can't, he wants her to enjoy her time left before. So I kind of was never mad at him because I was like,
because you just love him so much.
I do love him, but I also like get
You're
it.
biased, like, Jenna.
I know. But it also was like, what's the knowledge going to do for her? Like she can't, it's not a matter of her being strong. Like if she's going to die, wouldn't you want your mate to like be happy up until the end? Like, would you want them for 9 months, or I think actually Faye stayed pregnant for a year. Would you want them to be like scared and like depressed for a whole year?
No.
Or would you want them to be blissful and in a bubble until the end and then have to tell them at the very last minute, I wouldn't want them to know.
I would feel betrayed almost. Like, I think if I was in that situation, like that would ever happen, right? But if I was ever in that situation, like I would want to know personally. Like, yes, maybe I can't change things, but maybe I could help research with Resand. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it just
extra
comes
stress
down.
on the baby too. I
It
don't know.
is. It is.
I don't know why that
It's a
never
hard one.
bothered me. I know it bothered a lot of people, but it did bother me. But I also don't like Nesta, and there's a lot of people that like Nesta. So I just have different opinions. So whatever. Okay. So we go back to Nesta trying to scry again, and she finds the mask in the bog of Orid. I don't know how to say some of these words. So Nesta, Cassie, and Azriel go to the bog to find it, and whoa, mama. Azriel disappears while they're walking through the bog. So Cassian puts Nesta in a tree. And he's like, stay here. And he flies to the area where he sees Azriel's like blue siphons glowing. And Azriel is surrounded like by a dozen of Autumn Court soldiers, right? So Nesta tries to wait in there, but she has like the patience of a toddler. So she leaves and she jumps out of the tree and tries to swim in the bog to try to get it herself. And then there's like a freaking kelpie creature in there, which is terrifying. It wants to eat her. And it grabs her and drags her down to the bottom of the water. It ends up pushing her to the bottom where she finds the mask. And she's like, okay, this kelpie guy, like, is going to like, I don't know, like rape me and then eat me or whatever. And so she's like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to pop this mask on. So that's what she does. She puts the mask on her face and she's able to command all the dead that this kelpie has killed and brought to the bottom of this bog. And she basically raises like a freaking like army of dead skeletons.
Gross, but badass.
I mean, it is badass. Like I've seen like fan art
gross.
of it, and she's just like in this bog with this mask, and her eyes are glowing silver, and all these skeletons, whatever. And she's got like Bog's head or something crazy like that. And then like Azriel and Cassian are like shitting themselves when they see it. So meanwhile, while this is happening, Cassian and Azriel like had to fight like these Autumn soldiers who were like kind of like in this weird like trancey enchantment state. And they like, I think they kept like killed all of them, but like kept two. Right? And they want to see if Helion, the other High Lord is he the Day Court Helion? I don't know what he is. If he can break the spell on him.
Yeah.
And we know at this point that Helion is Lucian's daddy.
Yes.
Right? Okay, good.
It's real daddy.
Real daddy.
Real daddy. So yeah, Dina, it's all you, my friend.
Okay, so now more priestesses start showing up for training, and Gwen realizes that Azriel was the one that found her at, oh gosh, here we go, San Graval. Which, if you remember, was when Hybern was looking for the cauldron. One of the pieces was hidden in the temple where the priestesses were, and the warriors were sent there and killed most of them, and priestesses, and like raped them. So Az like showed up and slaughtered them all, and was part of like saving
freaking badass.
Yeah, of course, our man ass. So then Cassian takes Nesta to a blacksmith in Valaris so that she can see a sword being made, because at this point, I want to say that they're going to start training with swords. So they started off with like wooden swords, but for her to like have an appreciation for it, he took her to this place, which is actually pretty smart.
Yeah, he wanted her to respect the craft.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So to my surprise, like she really took interest in it, and she asked to actually hammer some of the swords. And so she ends up hammering a dagger, a sword, and a great sword. Which again, things in threes, right? We have the dead trove. We have these swords and daggers, again, a 3, the 3 sisters, the 3 death gods. Like there's so many 3s within this series magical. I'm like, oh, so crazy. But later on, we find out that these weapons hold power now because Nessa's the one hammering. I think she was like thinking of stuff too as she was hammering. So maybe a little bit of cathartic for her, but
I think she was thinking of all the things that she couldn't save, right? Like her life, herself from drowning in the cauldron, her father, Cassian getting injured, everything. Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Like you forged these, now the new trove. So then the inner circle finds out about it because the blacksmith basically comes back and says, like, you all take them. They're cursed. I don't want them. And they decide not to tell
Crazy.
Nesta about it. And Feyre is basically the deciding vote on whether to tell her. And they haven't told her yet. So, I mean, already at this point, you know, like, oh, okay, somebody's going to spill the beans, probably Cassian. They're going to get another fight here. And then, yeah. Later on, Helion shows up on a Pegasus, which was pretty cool that they had Pegasus.
Yes.
I like this. But he's here to see if he can break the spell on the Autumn soldiers. But they find out that they're actually being controlled by the Crown, which, what's her name? Brialyn? The queen? Brialyn, there we go. That she probably possesses. So they're down to the last one, which is the harp. They need to try to find the harp. He also shows Nesta how to ward the mask, and like there's a lot going on with I think she learns how to ward it, but then she can't take off the spell. Like only Rhysand can do that, just so that there's a breakup, and hopefully she can't just control it all herself.
Time out real quick.
Yeah.
There is a Pegasus tie-in to Crescent City.
Of course
really?
Of course.
I mean, that whole court sounded pretty magical when they discussed it was in Wings in Ruin, right? Because they're the ones with the feathers. They have like the pretty feathers. Or which is the court, right? Because that's huh?
I nailed.
Oh no. See, and that's a good thing you didn't have jalapeno. That would have been bad.
Yes. Pretty feather.
Right. So they have these pretty feather wings. I think also at one point they're gonna go and talk to that court to see about Feyre birthing a creature with wings, and they're different, right? So I think that's in the second part. But anyways, there was also discussion about Rhysand becoming a High King with these 3 new blades that Nesta created. But he's basically saying like, no, I'm not considering it. But
he doesn't want anything
know.
to do with it.
I feel like there's
I'm not a king.
Yeah, there's some foreshadowing here. If he doesn't end up with it, I don't know, Tamlin or
oh God, no,
please.
I mean,
well, maybe Eris, but
no,
not that I would want it, but maybe that is foreshadowing for Eris,
right? Like something's coming.
I've heard theories that Lucian will end up being a High King.
Well,
what?
Well, I don't like that. I mean, I love Lucian, but
I would rather Lucian than Eris or Tamlin.
But does Lucian have what it takes to be a High King?
He's got a better heart.
He does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if I like that though. I mean, I'd rather have Rhysand, but
yes.
You know. Oh yeah, 1,000%.
But it's like Game of Thrones, like what is it, Jon Snow the whole time? Right. I don't want it. I don't want it.
You're right. It is like
and
that.
Then he doesn't end up with it. You're like, seriously? Yeah.
So true.
Anyways, it's gonna be Brandon the little king who turned weird. Anyways, that's a different that's a different book. He is weird.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
That's a whole nother discussion. Anyways, okay. So Cassian begins teaching the Valkyrie methods to the girls, and he ends up telling Nesta about the new dead trove, which she's created. And of course, she gets angry about it, which we figured because they try to take a vote on whether they should tell her or not. I mean, I would be too. I'd be mad that
she gets angry at everything. So,
but yeah. Feyre, Nesta, and Amren all get in a fight, and Nesta ends up revealing to Feyre that no one has told her about the baby that she's carrying will kill her.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
So, yeah.
Fine. You want your sister to know? Fine. Don't blurt it out like that.
Yeah, that wasn't the right place to say it.
Well, absolutely not.
She didn't do it because she loved Feyre and wanted Feyre to know. She was trying to hurt her.
The intention was, exactly. It was a bad intention. So at this point, Nessa's just like blown it all up, and Cassian has to take her out of the city. I think Rhysand's the one that's basically like, get her out of here. And they end up going on a hike for several days, which was kind of random.
Well, it was like a punishment. Like, this is what you get.
Like, now you're gonna have to hike, like her and the stairs and the hiking and oh my gosh. But they barely talk throughout this hike. But then you kind of also find out a little bit more about Nesta and what she's feeling. She tells Cassian that she let her father die and will hate him for her, and all the hate that she had in her heart like died with him. She says she was horrible to him and he still loved her even though she didn't deserve it. She believes she can fix the horrible things she's done, but just can't fix herself. I mean, so you really do see like what she's feeling and how she feels that she doesn't deserve things, which
Mhm.
she just keeps digging a deeper hole, I think, for herself.
Yeah.
But
And this is when Cassian takes her into that like hike, right? We said that. Yeah.
Yeah, she
And
said they're on
where
a
like
hike.
he didn't like talk to her for like the longest time.
Yeah.
She just kept
Well,
like
he was
spiraling.
mad. He was super
No,
mad.
no, I don't blame him for that, but she kept like spiraling like at the more he didn't talk to her. And like I don't
Good.
blame him again, like but it just was funny to me. It's not really funny, but
Right, because they were taking like the 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, kiss a little bit, get in a huge fight,
Yeah.
fondle each other a little bit, get in a huge fight.
Talk about like, what is it, slow burn or oh God.
and at this point they haven't done much sexy time.
No, I think
They did have the dinner table scene.
The dining room table scene.
Yeah, where Azriel walks in.
and then he walks in. Yeah.
That was I think that's as far
fantastic.
that they got.
That's my personal favorite, but we'll get into that more with the listener poll discussion. Dina, you have a interesting deep dive discussion here, so go for it. Tell everybody.
I did write it down. So as we kind of said before, I don't know, Danielle, how do you feel about Nesta? Are you a Nesta lover, Nesta hater?
No, I don't like her at all.
You don't like her.
I specifically remember texting Jenna. I was like, why does she suck so much? And then I had a girlfriend who was reading at the same time, and I'd be at work and I'd just be like, are you at this part yet? I hate her. And then I would say, oh, okay, she's not so bad. Like the stuff about her dad. And then like within that same text thread, no, not even 5 minutes later, I'm saying, nope, I hate her. I hate her again. Like she was not redeemable.
Okay. So then definitely an unpopular opinion amongst our group here. I actually like her, but I am frustrated.
Or
I've liked her since the beginning.
Really?
I don't like some of the stuff that she's done, but I feel like she's a very complex character. And I respect Sarah J. Maas for writing such like a character with such like, yes, she's very controversial, but I also feel like in doing that, she made her very real because I mean, day to day, everyday life, this girl hit rock bottom. And how many people hit rock bottom and don't come out of that?
No, that's
and in this book, you do see some growth, but like you said, it's very slow progressing. It is not linear, which is very much like real life.
Yeah.
People try and they fail again. And this is just her. It's like, it's the stairs. You get down a little bit, you go back up. You get down a little bit more, you go back up.
Yeah.
And listeners, if you listened to Penn Cole's episode last week, we talked about Henry, who we all hated, and Penn gave us
I didn't hate. I was just really mad at him.
Well, we didn't like a lot of choices that he made. Anyway, and we were like, how do you like him? And she goes, oh, I'm a huge fan. And she humanized him and his actions and his trauma. So I'm going to back Dina here. I see that point of view. I'm still mad and salty.
Right.
But I understand where you're coming from, Dina. And that's why you're the nicest out of the three of us.
Well, I'm not saying that like I like her and I want to be her friend, but I understand her and I respect her as a character in this book. And I really do hope that things get better for her. And I hope that she ends up fixed. But I mean, she's obviously not fixed in this book. She still has ways to go.
It was sad when she was going through all the stuff about her dad and like how they used to sleep in the tiny cottage after mom had died. And then dad was like hurled up on like the little floor by the fire. And
so here's why I don't like her.
Oh God, here we go.
Well, I get the whole trauma since becoming Fae and being forced to be Fae.
She had trauma before is what Dina is saying.
Yeah, but so guess what? And I know everybody deals with trauma differently, but so did Elaine and so did Feyre. But Feyre and Elaine didn't treat their sisters like shit. Nesta did. And Nesta, as the oldest sister, let her youngest sister go out and find food, find money so they can live, since their father kind of gave up on life. And and her sisters weren't doing anything. Feyre did all of that. So Nesta had the same trauma as Feyre and Elaine, but Nesta did nothing and Feyre stepped up.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and say, but like you just said, everybody deals with trauma differently.
Yeah.
And she is reflecting and working through it. Just took her a longer time to deal with it.
I feel like she's barely working through it, but whatever, it's fine.
I know. She's super stubborn and getting in her own way of working through it. I'm not going to say that she's not. She is purposely not working on it sometimes.
It must be because she's the oldest sibling and I'm the oldest sibling of 3.
And you're super stubborn?
And yeah, listen, A, I admit I'm a bitch. B, I admit I'm extremely stubborn. I'm a Capricorn. That's what we do. That's like our main thing in life is that we're stubborn as hell. But if my family's in need or someone's coming at my family, you're dead. Like, you better run. Like, and Nesta's the opposite. She just hurts her family. And I get it's from trauma, but I just don't respect that kind of human. And I know, like, I've been on, like, I'm in a bunch of like book club, like fan groups on Facebook, and I know I'm a nerd, but there's so many people that love Nesta and they're like, I'm a Nesta, I get it. And I know Sarah J. Maas like was writing this book in a really dark mental health time of her own. And she was Nesta and Ramiel was her proverbial like mental health hill. So I get it. And I respect that, but my brain just can't wrap around it.
Well, I think she was a total bitch to her family too, and that's why I don't like her, because she's a bitch to everybody around her.
And I don't think if I can speak for all 3 of us, like, we have our own traumas, and we're not being giant assholes to our families. Yeah. I'm just saying. But
we're functioning people. We may not be nice outside of the work walls when we vent about it, but
no, there might be some faces made.
Faces,
Me and my husband were watching the series finale of Yellowstone, which don't even get me started.
There you go, Dina.
I know.
Yellowstone.
Don't even get me started, Dina, on how you guys haven't watched it.
I was supposed to watch it years ago. I still haven't.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Oh no.
And as I'm watching the series finale, I'm like, hands down, this is my favorite series of all time. And then like
that's a hard thing to say.
Have you watched it?
No.
Exactly. So shut your mouth. Well, one of the characters is a real big bitch, but she's like, I just respect the fucking shit out of her because she defends her family. You can be a bitch, but if you protect your family, I have your back 100%. And she did something, and I was like, saying to my husband, I was like, aren't you glad I don't keep you in the dark and I tell you when it's happening? He's like, you think you're not like this character? You're 100% her. I was like, you know what? I'm choosing not to be offended by this because I love her.
So now you know why you love her.
But see,
like calls to like.
Ooh. Like calls to like.
All I'm saying, moral of the story, I would have respected Nesta a lot more if she had her family's back. She just doesn't have it.
It's because you are a very good sister and you don't like that she is not a good sister.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
I will say also in Crescent City 3, never mind, I won't say anything.
Don't say it. We haven't read it.
Never mind. Anyway, okay. Listener poll engagement. Would you like to hear the stats?
Absolutely.
So I made 2. One of the ones was, were you mad? And we talked about this a little bit. Were you mad at Rhysand for keeping the truth from Feyre about the risk of her pregnancy? 63% of our followers said yes, and 37% said no. So again, I'm that 37% that said no. And then I did a for funsies one that was like, which was the sexier / spicier scene? Was it Cassie and Nesta put your hands on the headboard, or was it under the dining room table scene? If you know, you know.
I thought yours was the headboard, Jenna.
Ooh, mine's
because you were begging for me to tell you when I got to that part.
Because it's such everybody talks about that part.
Oh, all right.
But no. I love the dining room table scene, and I love that Azriel comes in right after. Like, he knew what was happening. He just wanted to be like, really? In where I eat? Really?
Right. Well, especially because they could smell everything.
Right. And your hearing's great. So, Dina, which one did you pick?
I picked the headboard one.
Thanks, Dina.
I think it's also because I was listening to that part, because I did like both audio and I read the dining room scene, and then I heard the headboard one. So
Hearing the headboard one, because I picked the headboard, hearing that was like,
his voice was really good.
Yeah.
it was a whoa.
Danielle, you did the headboard one
I did
too?
the headboard for sure.
I did the dining room table.
I actually, and I'm